being a black actor in musical theater, honestly, is one of the hardest jobs in the world because you're either scapegoated or you're picked to be the minority, unless it's a production company doing a production of Ragtime, Ain't Misbehaving, Jelly's Last Jam, Dreamgirls, Fences, anything by August Wilson that really centers Black people, that production companies need to put on because they know we really bring in the money, or you're scapegoated and you're picked to be the minority. Like, there have been countless amounts of time when I have been emailed personally by a production manager saying, hey, we want you to come in for this show. But then when I come in, all I get is it was nice seeing you. And then I look at the cast list and it's only one person that looks like me. And honestly, I think I speak for every Black actor, actress, whether it's theater, film, TV, musical theater. I think I speak for everybody when we say we're tired. Because honestly, people really don't understand what it's like to walk into a room and see two people that look like you. Or not even two, you might see one at the time you go. And even in big Broadway productions, we're tired of it. We're tired of it because if it's not a show like an Ain't Too Proud or A Beautiful, they don't really consider Black people the way that they should. And honestly, we're just as good or better as everybody else. That's just how it is. So being Black in musical theater is very, very difficult. It's very tedious and it's very frustrating because we know the work and the effort that we put in hour after hour, day after day, stressing over last minute calls from agents to have something in at midnight and you might get it at 5:00. It's difficult. And I'm all for the Black Lives Matter movement because I feel like it is a time that America has started to wake up, but they're still sleeping. And there's more that we have to do.
Yeah, definitely. What we decided here is we really want to make an effort to keep having content that focuses on it because this is a part of our life right now. This is something that we all need to accept as something we need to deal with, and it's going to take time. Right. It's not something we need to be upset about real quick and then go away. At least that's how we feel our duty as white people trying to help. And we could talk about, and by talk I mean us ask a few questions and listen more about this. We'd love to have you on the podcast. We got into a lot of this stuff with Dion, and it's just mind blowing because in general, this is a hard career where you have to be vulnerable all the time.
Yes.
And when you talk about those experiences, it's nothing like something that we've experienced. And, everybody has an audition horror story, but that's not even close to something that I've experienced. And then to feel, and sorry if I'm rambling here, but to feel like you're not even looked at as leading man unless it is a show that's already that.
Man, I have production horror stories. It goes a long way with me.
Well, I'm glad that you're getting through that and you're still doing it and we can still watch you perform. And like I said, we'd love for you to come on the podcast and we can sit and talk with no time limits at all.
Yeah,
and talk
I'll
about
come on anytime.
We'll love that. So please look forward
because it's an important question though. Before we move on, can I go a little bit off script? Will it throw you off too much to actually respond to the same question before you sing? Throwing wrenches all over the place.
No, I wouldn't.
But I think I'd love to hear from you too.
Like Jarrett said, it's, basically a part of the life of every Black performer, be it theater, be it film, television, even the music industry has its very, very strong biases and stereotypes. So, yeah, any movement that is working towards actual equity and sort of atoning for the many, 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 many sins
Oh,
America's past is something that I think can only be a positive thing.
Definitely.
I think the thing that resonates most is the arts industry likes to seem very progressive and forward and defending people of color of these things, but it still has its underlying racism in the way that casting is done or the way that filming is done, because there's not enough leading men of color or leading females of color without them kind of falling into a stereotype of a character.
Yeah.
And I think that having this conversation is a wonderful thing, because it's a start, it's a step, but one thing we can't do is we can't get complacent.
Right.
A lot of times we get this outrage and then a month later it's gone and we forget that it ever happened. And I think that that's the most positive thing I've seen from all of this, is that the outrage hasn't stopped, and it's been months and months and months. I think that everyone is finally like waking up and realizing, hey, something is wrong, and it's not just here, it's widespread. So I'm happy you guys are here to have this conversation with us.
Yeah,
thank you for having us, man.
Definitely. There is no way to segue at all.
So
there is no
we
way
won't.
It's okay. We need to be uncomfortable. That's a part of it.
Yes.
It's all good. Thank you so much, Jarrett. Your song's phenomenal. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
I can't think of a more fitting song right now to go to. So we're just going to sit back and enjoy this. Go ahead.
Yes, this is "Make Them Hear You" from Ragtime. A lot of musical theater friends of mine have been quoting the lyrics to "Till We Reach That Day" from Ragtime, which is an equally powerful song. This song, I think, in terms of galvanizing people to actually continue the movement, is why I love the message so much. So, with no further ado, here it is with piano. Go out and tell our story. Let it echo far and wide. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. How justice was our battle, and how justice was denied. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And say to those who blame us for the way we chose to fight, that sometimes there are battles that are more than black or white. And I could not put down my sword when justice was my right. Make them hear you. Go out and tell our stories to your daughters and your sons. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And tell them in our struggles we would not be only ones. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. Your sword can be a sermon or the power of the pen. Teach every child to raise his voice, and then my brothers then. Will justice be demanded by 10 million righteous men? Make them hear you. When they hear you, I'll be near you again.